I intend to use a percentage of the proceeds, the revenues of red melon oil to help the growers of Vietnam. Also, I think investor would not want to take risk in an idea, and to implement this idea, you do need capital. At the beginning, basically, I feel like I work alone a lot. And so my goal is still to be able to find team members and colleagues and a network of people that in this similar field.
A lot of women in technology. So if you look at the ratios, many of them drop out. So first 3 or 4 months, I was just meeting farms. That in itself has been quite challenging, because they're not as prepared for someone of my profile to show up to the farm. The fact that you're a minority, or you're this this person who I am, Asian American. There were people who had this question mark on what am I doing there, or why do they have to deal with me, right? Me being who I am. So there are times when it kind of takes a while for me to build that relationship with growers. When it comes to something very important for a venture at a stage like ours, which is fundraising, honestly, it has been more difficult than it has been with my previous ventures.
It's challenging, more so in Vietnam also, believe it or not. Still very old culture where women are not supposed to run a company.
With my previous ventures, I was owning the technology. I wasn't the one responsible to raise funds, right? So that's one part of it. Whether it's finding the engineering talent or whether it's finding the investment money, I think it's a combination. I don't know which one is bigger or smaller, but the fact that I'm Asian American, I'm a minority, I'm a woman, and then I have this this intention of doing something in ag. When you add all that together, it becomes a very difficult problem. It's getting there, but it's not at a point where you'd see many more women entrepreneurs really trying to solve challenges in agriculture until we fix some of these things.
Go and you meet with either farmers or health officers, doctors and scientists. Usually there's no other women around. So one time I showed up at, I was taken to meet with the officers of the township that were supposed to do the study. And so I walked into the meeting room, and there may be about a dozen or so of all different officers and doctors, and then I saw that at the end of the room on the top, there's a TV that playing a Playboy movie. And there's the whole time, and everybody was just watching the movie. And they would expect me to translate it for them, because the movie is in English. And it's a pornographic. So finally I say, unless we turn off the TV, then I would leave.
I've been in computer science and technology for almost my entire education, and so being in a male-dominated environment is something that I guess you kind of grow used to. And
obviously, you notice, you get noticed, and there are events that happen being a female in a male-dominated field and industry.
I was experiencing it up in the Bay Area, so they're not, even though companies try to try to make it better, it's not very welcoming. You know, even programming isn't a very very welcoming for women. I guess it's more like negative. But I just always felt like, you know, people were, you know, questioning whether I could do something, I guess. But here it's like everyone's really welcoming. I feel more accepted, and it's been a lot more fun working in the area.
You know, you always find a way to work with folks who are supportive and who really believe in the same problems and in solving the same problems that you do. And so that's really always been our focus is, you know, work first, technology first, and everything else, you know, kind of, you find a way to blaze a trail through the rest.
Yeah, I think it's more and more that women to be in the field, in the ag tech field and successful, and the more we gain our credibility and perhaps some respect. I see now there's a lot of women in engineering, in science, and so that trend will change now.
We're minorities in many different ways. We're young, we're women, we're also, you know, ethnically minorities. And so I think maybe you just get used to being a minority and you stop thinking about it after a while. You know, everyone's an outsider in their own way, I think, and you can often find yourself in a new environment. And so I think once you're able to not focus on that and focus on the successes and the things you have going for you, and the things that you really, the message that you want to get out there, then the conversation becomes a lot easier, and people are actually often very, very much willing to listen to us.
It's still very unrepresented, but we are a newer company where we still, I guess, hope to change that. And we're starting a movement, even here in this Western Grower building, they hope to bring that movement in as well and shift the focus in that women can also do this job, and there's a lot of opportunity for men and women in this area.
It has to start early on. It has to start young. Like my daughter is 10-year-old and she's already sold into agriculture. She's extremely fascinated. You know, I took her to certain farms. She has been seeing what I want to do. She asks me, what is it that you're doing? And when I share that with her, she has this spark in her eye that, wow, you know, it's that complex. I didn't know that's how you grew strawberries. That's how early it has to start, that basic education. If we really want to get, you know, the younger generation or the next set of people and kids to understand about agriculture, they should be spending some time on a farm. And then they will have appreciation for it, which is inbuilt in them. And then you have the right talent. Once the spark is there, they will find most innovative ways to solve things. We have always done that. You know, I'm already training my daughter, exposing her to the good and the bad of agriculture. If we start doing that, that would be enough to have enough young women entrepreneurs to start changing these challenges we have in agriculture.
Underrepresented minorities will look at a job description and they will not apply unless they feel like they fit 100% of all the requirements. So we explicitly say in our hiring process, hey, if you think you even meet 50% of these qualifications, you should apply. We're reaching out to you because we think you'd be a good candidate. Our company is currently a majority women. It is majority people of color as well, and those are demographic numbers that not a lot of technology startups inside or outside of ag have, and it's something that we work very actively to recruit.
When you have a diverse group of people, decision making is more robust, and you get better decision making and better outcomes, better creativity, because you have different perspectives. Studies from groups like Catalyst showing that often return on investment is higher for an investor in a company that has a higher level of diversity.
There have always been women in agriculture, but kind of behind the scenes, more in terms of bookkeeping and running the family business. What you see now are more and more women up front, becoming the actual entrepreneurs themselves.
we're certainly seeing more resumes come in from women. And part of this is also knowing how to communicate what you need at the company. The less specific you make it, in terms of like the nitty-gritty details of what exactly you want this person to have, like the skill set, you know, the more you open it up and allow for a little flexibility, you'll be surprised at the types of people who will apply to those job postings that are a little bit, you know, allow for a little bit more flexibility.
We need microbiologists, we need pest specialists, we need crop science, soil science experts. But if you're looking into nutrition, sales, marketing, product development, we need that too. If engineering is something you're looking at, we clearly need automation. It's hard for me to imagine a discipline of study that would not be utilized by the ag industry.
Trace especially, I think our goal would be to bring in and to maintain a diversity of opinions and perspectives and voices and backgrounds, because that is really key to solving an interdisciplinary problem.
If you are a VC and you are not investing in women, I don't know what you're doing. You know, given that the numbers are that immigrant-run businesses, women-run businesses tend to do better. Like the data is there, so it's actually a business opportunity. It's not like a charity case.
In America, less than 1% of the population actually farms anymore, right? And that less than 1% is actually an average age of 62 to 65. So I'm actually a third-generation farmer here in Yolo County. My family did about 4,000 acres of grain haze and custom harvesting and orchard crops and livestock. So we have a very, I would say honestly, precarious situation where we have an aging population of farmers and not very many people who are doing it.
The estimate is 50% of farmland is going to change hands in the next 10 years. We're not talking about dating apps, we're talking about food. Like we're talking about raising food for our communities, and if we don't build that talent pipeline, we're kind of all screwed.
So what's interesting is that there is such a growth and development in this sector right now that I'm seeing more and more women that are interested in the field. It's important that the field be diversified and that women be at the table for a whole variety of reasons. Women don't get treated well unless there are enough, there's a critical mass.
When I was the program director for AgStart, I saw a lot of up-and-coming ag tech companies that were headed by women, which really made my heart smile, and I never doubted them. As a woman in farming in general, I never doubted that it was possible and that it was coming.
That the perception could be from me, that because I'm no longer in that network, that I have to be before, I feel like I'm alone out there. And now the more and more I see other people like me and they're successful. And that gives me the confidence, and that also maybe project it out to other people who interact with me.
Demographically speaking, if you look at the next generation is in itself more diverse. Our country is getting more diverse as the next generation grows up and takes on leadership roles.
So I want women to be able to earn a good living as well, and for them to be able to earn, to have their own businesses and to deploy technology means that they're going to be able to earn a good living.